Hey, what is going on YouTube? This is Broke Watch Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to go over my latest Grand Seiko model, the SBGE285, otherwise known as the Miss Flake. This watch was released in July of 2022 and displays Grand Seiko's new Evolution 9 design language that started in 2020. This new philosophy takes the fundamentals of what makes Grand Seiko a Grand Seiko and further elevates them to new standards. These include legibility, ease of use, and beauty. We all know that Grand Seiko is the king of dials, at least for me. Nobody produces incredible dials quite like Grand Seiko does. They definitely take more risks in developing unique dials more than any other company I know. I had the Snowflake SBGE211 and the Shunbun Cherry Blossom SBGE413. And now Grand Seiko releases this incredible GMT. I felt this was the best Grand Seiko model for me because it showcases the Evolution 9 design language. I much rather prefer this styling over their previous models like the Snowflake and Cherry Blossom. The wider three-dimensional multifaceted indices with its broad hour hand and long skinny minute hand give the watch a lot more visual interest than the Dauphine hands and skinny indices you'd find in their other models. The minute hand and second hand reach all the way to the minute markers, and they've also bent these hands towards the dial to make the watch easier to read at an angle. And because of those evolutions they made, the watch becomes a lot more legible. Plus, the fact that this model has Lumibright is also something I've been missing in the other models I had. The hands and indices are filled with green Lumibright, with the exception of the GMT hand, which differentiates itself with blue Lumibright. Speaking of the GMT hand, it is long, skinny, and also reaches all the way to the minute track, indicating the GMT on the 24-hour bezel. The GMT hand is painted black and stands out in stark contrast against that silver gray background, and also matches the black numerals on the fixed GMT bezel. And if you look closely, you can see that the GMT hand is truncated, just like the hour hand. Talk about design cohesion. The watch is advertised to be 41mm in diameter, but it's quite hard to get that measurement with my calipers due to the asymmetrical case shape. The best I could do was measure it from 8 to 2, and the reading was 42.5mm. The bezel itself came in at 40mm, lug to lug of 47.5mm, and if you want to consider the end links, it is 51.8mm. It has a thickness of 14.3mm, lug width of 22mm, tapering down to 20mm. The crystal is a box-shaped sapphire crystal that is slightly domed with anti-reflective coating on the inner surface. Inside the case is Grand Seiko's 9R66 spring drive 3-day GMT movement. It would have been nice if this watch had been paired with a newer 5-day spring drive movement like you see in other Evolution 9 spring drive models, but I suppose they haven't developed a GMT version just yet. And if it did, it would have come at a heftier cost, so I really shouldn't complain. A 3-day power reserve is pretty good. Grand Seiko now supplies their watches with this new travel case. This is so much more practical and functional than the previous box that was issued, and I think more companies should start doing this. I know Zenith and Omega incorporate travel cases into their boxes on certain models, so it's nice that Grand Seiko is doing the same. The dial on this watch is similar to the snowy texture of the Snowflake, except that this one is supposed to resemble the morning mist that covers the mountains of Nagano, the home of spring drive. It is silver and gray depending on the lighting conditions, and the textures on this dial are ever so subtle. At times, the dial will look flat, and at other times, it'll show the delicate ridges similar to crinkled paper that's been flattened. The dial is well balanced with 2 lines of text at the top and 2 lines of text at the bottom. The Snowflake and Cherry Blossom had only 1 line of text at the bottom, that read spring drive, and for some reason I thought it was missing something. This one has the words spring drive and right below it GMT. I think this fills in the dial a lot better. The power reserve indicator is somewhat of a polarizing feature. You either love it or hate it. I personally don't mind it at all. I actually like knowing how much reserve I have left. I might even prefer it on the dial than on the back of the watch. Crazy, I know. The watch is made of high-intensity titanium, which is said to be 30% lighter than stainless steel. It also keeps the watch light on the wrist, something that not everybody wants with their watch. Some people want to feel the heft of an expensive luxury watch on their wrist, so if that's you, titanium watches are probably not for you. It also gives off more of a gray tone than your typical stainless steel. So that's another thing to consider when getting into titanium watches. The case shape has also been carefully considered under its Evolution 9 design philosophy. From what I've been researching, the designer Kiyotaka Sakai, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, intentionally reduced the polishing, I meant Zaratsu polishing surfaces to make them more versatile. By doing so, the use of hairline finishing has been increased throughout. And that's what you see exemplified here with the Miss Flake. The case is mostly finished with hairline brushing but also has slivers of Zaratsu polishing, such as the bevels of the exterior lugs as well as the inside lugs, and the beveling on the GMT bezel. And one thing that always impresses me when I wear this watch is how that GMT bezel reflects the light. It has such uniformity when light is bouncing off of it, and sometimes it may have that hologram effect when something blue hits it, like the sky, for example. The designer also wanted to incorporate flat surfaces with minimal curves and arrange them to have a three-dimensional effect. And I think the best angle to display this work is from the side where the integrated crown guards are located. There are lots of sharp transitions and flat surfaces. The bracelet links also appear to have a blocky design and feels more substantial with minimal curvatures, and even the folding clasp can be seen having sharp angles, keeping in line with their design philosophy. The bracelet is your typical Grand Seiko bracelet. It is a simple fold-over clasp with a push-button release, no micro adjustments, and a pin and collar system to change out the links. My only complaint I have with their bracelets is the lack of micro adjustments. In fact, I had to purchase an extra half link to get a more precise fit. Other than that, I think they wear just fine. This new bracelet, however, has improved in two areas aside from the aesthetics of it. The links are shorter, so it'll conform to your wrist a little bit better. And the buckle design has changed. In previous models, the buckle would sit pretty high up, and it makes you think that it could get caught in something. With the new iteration, the buckle now transitions evenly to the rest of the bracelet without the unsightly gap and sits more flush with the links. Much improved. In summary, this watch has been such a joy to wear. Every time I look down at my wrist, there's always something interesting that catches my attention, whether it's the polishing, the smooth sweeping second hand, the textured dial, or the incredible finishing overall. Although the watch is on the thicker side, with their Evolution 9 philosophy, they focused on lowering the center of gravity so that the watch stays centered on your wrist, and as a result, wears more comfortably. I suppose if I had anything negative to say about this watch, it would be the lack of micro adjustments. Otherwise, it's a rock-solid watch that looks mature, elegant, sporty, and versatile all at the same time. I've been getting into GMT watches lately, and I'm so glad Grand Seiko came out with this model. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Did Grand Seiko nail this one, or do they still have a lot of work to do to compete with the big Swiss brands? If you like this content, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps the channel out. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care everyone.